Welcome, Roster Wars, to the United Nations Rookie Summit, final episode of 2025. And we are talking running backs today, folks. It is Sunday, Easter Sunday, just 5 days before the NFL draft. And I am absolutely pumped and ready to get going. As always, I'm your host, Corbin, joined with Ross and Tyler. How we doing, boys? Today's a good one.
Fantastic. This is the one everyone tunes in for.
Yeah, I mean, running backs are the only reason to be in fantasy football. So
it's the bread and butter of fantasy football, no doubt. And you might have heard a few things about this running back class, and it's all true. I don't remember a running back class that has been this deep. I mean, we're talking 5 guys today. We're throwing in some sleepers, but there's a legit 12, 14 guys that I could see being valuable fantasy contributors if they're in the right situation. So a lot of talented guys. Yeah, I'm super stoked, honestly. I mean, this entire class from a fantasy perspective, I mean, I was a little lower on it. I knew the running back class would be good, but I like what I've seen so far from this class. And after kind of combing through every single position these past few weeks, I'm feeling pretty confident coming into the Roster Wars draft.
Yeah, it's definitely deep. So thinking about the Roster Wars draft, those second round picks, third round picks, maybe a bit more valuable. It depends, but obviously we are talking about them before landing spots, and there are some juicy landing spots out there. So even our rankings today, some guys might shoot up, shoot down. You've got some juicy ones. You've got the Chargers, the Broncos, the Raiders, the Bears, all looking for RB1s who are slotted to get a lot of touches. So yeah, it's an exciting time for fantasy football if you need a running back anyway.
Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of guys that are going to get taken in the second round, third round that maybe not get pushed up into the first round, but there's some guys that'll be going in the third round, and any other year it might be going second. But there's, 5, 6 guys that are easily first, second round picks at running back that are going to slide. So you might find some good value given that NFL draft capital. They might be able to push back into, the third round or something like that, and you can find a diamond in the rough. So you're definitely going to want to check out class in its entirety, not just these top 5 guys we're talking about. But let's hop into it here. Today we're going to be covering Ashton Jeanty, Heisman finalist, Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina, Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State, and his running mate TreVeyon Henderson, also from Ohio State. So we'll start with Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State, 21-year-old junior. Everybody should know who this guy is now. He had an insane 2024, measured in at 5'8", 211 pounds with no RAS. He doesn't need to test. I don't know if you guys saw any numbers. I did not find anything. I don't even know if he did anything at his pro day, but I couldn't find 40 or anything on the guy. But he's an athlete. I assure you, he's the entire package. Last year, he had 374 carries for 2,601 yard, 29 touchdowns with 23 catches for 138 yards and a touchdown with that. 2023, a workhorse as well, 220 carries for 1,347 yards, 14 TDs, 43 catches, 569 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And watching the tape, I mean, this guy is just a highlight factory. He's a fantastic running back and probably one of the best prospects that we've seen come out, since Bijan, no doubt. But I think these are very, very comparable guys. It is tough to find any knocks on this guy whatsoever. He seems like the total package. What do you think, Ross?
Yeah, like you said, total package. So he's a physical power back. That's what you want as well. He just breaks tackles for a living. Surely you know about him by now, but his whole thing is he's contact balance. He's just breaking through every defender he comes across. He shrugs off hits so easily, it's crazy. But he's also got the intangible stuff. He's got the vision to set up the blockers, and he's got great lateral agility to get to the right spot to then burst through the hole and make these big plays. And it's not just breaking tackles. He does pull off big 70-yard touchdown runs. Like you said, highlight factory. He just does not stop. And this is the one guy who I'm okay with you box score scouting. You went through the stats. That tells you everything you need to know. The amount of yards, touchdowns he's racked up is just incredible. And my favourite stat is that 76% of his yards came after contact. That's just an insane amount to have over, well, you ready stats over 2,000 yards and 76% of those are after contact. It's just insane. He was like a one-man team, and they won quite a lot of games. They done quite well in Boise State, and just on the back of Ashton Jenney, like true three down back, because he had all those catches in 2023. Not so much now, but I think he does have a true three down back potential. And yeah, not many concerns. And the concerns you do have, you can easily forget about them because he's just too good.
Yep. He seems flawless.
I can sit here and praise the shit out of him like you guys did and tell everyone the same stuff. I will tell you that his 40 time is 4.42. Okay?
Okay.
So
is that off the eyeball or is that official?
That's official. That's from my site. They put it down. I don't know what Corbin looks up, but also, I know we were really excited to get to this class, but do you mind if I quickly go over last year real quick?
I'm so sorry, Tyler. I was super excited, chomping at the bit to get into it. But yeah, we totally forgot about that. So let's rewind a little bit, just a tick, and we'll go back through our rankings.
I'll finish my thoughts on Genty.
Okay.
And then I'll end it over.
Okay, go ahead.
Genty is the best back coming out since Todd Gurley. Anyway. So, last year, we did Jonathan Brooks, Marshawn Lloyd, Jalen Wright, Blake Corum, and Trey Benson. We picked them in order. I had Brooks, Lloyd, Wright, Benson, and Corum. Ross had Brooks, Lloyd, Corum, Benson, and Wright. And Corbin had Lloyd, Benson, Brooks, Wright, and Corum. Now, me and Ross were right because all these guys were shit except for Brooks. But unfortunately, he retore his ACL. So we didn't really get a chance to see him at his finest. I'll quickly go over stats. Brooks, 3 games played only 9 rush attempts and 22 yards, 0 touches, TDs, I mean. Round 2, drafted 46 overall by Carolina. Lloyd played 1 game, had 6 rushing attempts for 15 yards, 0 touchdowns. Round 3, 88th by Green Bay. Wright, 15 games, 68 attempts, 249 yards, 0 tutties. Round 4, 120th by Miami. Blake Corum, 17 games played, 58 attempts, 207 rush yards, 0 TDs. Round 3, 83rd by the Rams. And Trey Benson, 13 games, 63 attempts, 291 yards, 1 tutty. Round 3, 66 overall by Arizona. I'm going to say best rookie year, Trey Benson, but that's a low scale. Our sleepers were both Corbin and I had Will Shipley, who had 16 games played, 30 rush attempts, 82 yards, 0 tutties, drafted round 4, 127th overall by Philly. And Ross had Rasheen Ali, who had 6 games played, 10 attempts, 31 yards, 0 tutties, drafted round 5, 165th overall by Baltimore. Now, we did pick these guys before the draft, of course. And I would say Corum fell into a shitty spot behind Williams. Lloyd,
that's what I was saying.
Shitty spot. Wright has the potential because Mostert has moved on. So we'll see what they do. Now. We'll see what they do at this draft. Maybe he's a guy to keep your eye on. Brooks is behind Chuba, so he's screwed. Will Shipley is behind Barkley. And, Benson was supposed to be the guy who was taking over for Connor, right? And Connor was supposed to leave, but I'm pretty sure they re-signed Connor now.
Yeah. Yep.
So Benson's still sitting in the shitty spot. So anyway, and Ali, of course, is behind Derrick Henry for now. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of us were super keen on any of these guys last year. And like we said, I mean, everybody kind of went to a shitty situation. And Jonathan Brooks, yeah, he had the injury, and Chuba Hubbard just dominated. So I do think that quite a few of them have bumped up on the depth chart. Jalen Wright specifically, Marshawn Lloyd doesn't have AJ Dillon there anymore. Um, Trey Benson, I really thought was going to come on at the end of the season, but James Conner just somehow stayed healthy. But we all know he has an injury history, even though he's got the new contract. I do expect some more looks to go Trey Benson's way. Same with Jonathan Brooks too. Like Chuba Hubbard was great, but like training camp can change a lot of things. So the jury's still out on these guys. They're solid backs, and I do think there will be opportunity. I mean, injuries happen every single week at the running back position, so it just takes one, and then all of a sudden you go from getting 5 carries to 25, 30 touches every single game. It can happen that quick. So jury's still out on these guys. Don't drop them yet.
Okay, and now, sorry to move you on, but I just want one more thing about Genty before we move on.
Absolutely.
I don't know if anybody can
Genty.
see my screen name, but it says Chapter 1 winner. And that's because I have the 101, and Genty is going to take me there. Anyway.
That's a smart pick, honestly, because, I mean, I don't think that there's any quarterback in this class that should be drafted over Genty. It doesn't matter if it's super flex, tight end premium, PPR. I don't care what the format is. Genty is the slam dunk pick. He's probably going to have top 10 draft capital to support it. And when teams take a running back top 10, they're going to be featured in their offense, whether you like it or not. The only draft capital for me is important just because if you're a first or second round running back, you know that that player is going to get a high volume in that system. It was the same with Najee Harris. You know, his first couple of years, he was that featured back, pounding the ball, catching the ball. He was doing everything. And as the years have gone on, people have realized, you know, maybe Najee Harris just isn't that talented, but he still had that volume. He was given that opportunity. I think a lot of these guys are going to get opportunity. Most of these guys we'll discuss today will be going second round, I believe. Maybe one guy in the third. If I had it my way, at least we'll get to that. But yeah, back to Genty. He is the entire package. And the two traits about him that really stand out, Ross, you mentioned it, it's his con talents. It's truly elite. He's pinballing around. He's got a low pad level. He just refuses to go down. He's got the speed. He has no problem making cuts, using power or, you know, his kind of lateral agility to make guys miss. He has so much variation to his game that it's just so tough as a defender to stop that. And, you know, he's 5'8", like he's a small guy, but he's 211, you know, and so he can really do it all. And the second elite trait that I had for him is his vision. Just behind the line of scrimmage, he shows that patience, lets his blocks develop, and then he bursts through the hole, gets to the second level. And that's where he really excels, is when he gets to that second level, gets a little bit of space. He has the speed, the quickness, the power to make guys miss, run through, whatever he needs to do. And it was just like watching like an adult play against little kids out there. You know, he could really just do what he wanted. So the two knocks that, and I'm just nitpicking here, his high usage. I mean, he had 374 carries last year. Boise State pretty much, you know, like defenses were just stacking the box. There was nothing that they could do, and Boise State leaned on that to win football games. But, you know, with the running back being such a fickle position, so much injury concern, and having a, you know, a shorter shelf life, that is a little bit of a concern, I would say, but not going to knock him down my board. And then a couple fumble concerns. He had 2 fumbles versus Penn State in the college football playoffs. So that's slightly concerning, but again, you know, nothing too serious. I like Genty a lot, and he should be the 101 in every single draft, every single league format you're in. Don't overthink it. Just take him no matter where he goes.
Yeah, I think so too. And Tyler, you said he's the best running back since Todd Gurley, so that's very very high praise. Me and Corbin were talking earlier about would you take him over Bijan, and to be honest, if you asked me at the time, I would probably say no. Um, but knowing what we know about Bijan's situation when he went into the league, like he could have went into a better situation. But Genty, like there's rumours that he's going to Jacksonville now, which I kind of like as well. But you've got guys like Jacksonville, you've got the Raiders, you've got the Bears. He's going to slot in. He's going to get a lot of carries. and there's no Arthur Smith in the way to
Mm-hmm.
split the backfield with him. So yeah, I'd probably agree with you somewhat, Tyler, and say I'd have him as clearly the best back that we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
The latest, and probably you don't want to hear it, but the latest I heard was that the Patriots are looking at him. That would be
I
something.
Well,
mean,
he's off my board. He's off my board. Then.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I haven't heard the Jacksonville. That is intriguing. I honestly kind of pegged him to like the Raiders and the Bears, and the Raiders is an interesting one for me with Pete Carroll. I mean, in all of Pete Carroll's offenses historically, he's had a great featured running back, so I think that he could get a lot of usage. And it's just kind of mouth-watering when it comes to fantasy football. I mean, for me, like I do like that Falcons offense and that offensive line. I want to see where the landing spot is before, if we're in a redraft situation, there's going to be, Saquon, maybe Christian McCaffrey's there. You got Bijan, you got Ashton Genty, you got Jahmyr Gibbs. He's right up there as a top 5 running back immediately as a rookie. I just want to see where he lands just to be sure. But I mean, just off the tape alone, he fits the bill. He's about as bulletproof of a prospect as you could really hope to get. So I like Ashton Genty a lot, only 21 years old. Really no knocks on the guy whatsoever. Do we really need to say more? Don't overthink it, guys. Just take him.
Exactly. All right.
So let's move it on here. And we'll talk about Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. He's 21 years old, a junior coming out, measured in at 5'11", 221 pounds. That's a big boy with a 9.7 RAS score. He had a 4.46 40 and elite split to go with it. Explosion. He had a 38-inch vertical and a 10-foot 10-inch broad. No agility scores. Last year, he had 281 carries for 1660 yards, 15 touchdowns, along with 38 catches for 373 yards and 2 touchdowns to go along with it. And 2023, 253 carries, 1,504 yards, another 15 touchdowns, 29 catches for 222 yards and 1 touchdown. So maybe not quite as bulletproof of a prospect as Ashton Genty, but I've seen a lot of mock drafts having him go in the first round. I really didn't too much tape on him, earlier this year, but after digging in, I could see why he would be a first round pick. There's a guy that I would prefer over him, I'll just say that, but he's a very, very powerful running back, great contact balance, a little bit to be desired, in the, shiftiness, lateral quickness department, but I think he's a pretty solid back. He should be a second round pick at least.
Yeah, you said the word explosive, and that's what I think of when I watch Omarion Hampton. Like he's a physically gifted back. Like, he's big, he's powerful, he's quick, and he's fast. He's 221 pounds, but he's like extremely well put together. Like it's all quads, it's all muscle, and he just looks really good. And he's powerful when he runs. When he's running inside, he's getting low, he's getting skinny through the hole, and he's like bursting through the line of scrimmage. Like he just plays at like 100 miles an hour. He's aggressive towards the line of scrimmage, but he's patient enough to set up the blocks to wait on the hole coming, but when he sees that hole, then he's away, and he could break off long runs and he could take it to the house. He's got similar contact balance, maybe not similar contact balance because no one does, but he's got good contact balance. He bounces off tacklers, sometimes like truly bouncing off and going in weird directions, like he's going all over the place and maybe lacks a bit of control at times. But in general, I think he's a really powerful, really explosive runner. And he's also a 3-down back as well. He can catch the ball at the backfield, but what was really impressive to me was his pass protection as well. And NFL coaches absolutely love that. He's going to get on the field really early for all 3 downs, and that's just what you want. You want the opportunity for him to get these touches, and as a great pass protector, just gets him on the field early, gets him on all 3 downs. Like I said, he doesn't what you said earlier, like I think he avoids tackles rather than maybe breaks them as much. But I think he's still relatively elusive, and he uses that speed, especially when he's in the second level. He's really good at taking good angles to like avoid defenders and take it to the end zone. But yeah, the thing I love about him is his violence and aggressiveness that he plays with. It's just great to watch.
Yeah. I don't see him breaking off any long runs. He doesn't have like the elite speed. He has a burst, but when he gets to the NFL level, he's not going to be able to. I don't see him breaking off any 30, 40-yard runs or more. He's going to probably going to need, at the next level, he's probably going to need like a really good offensive line to produce some holes for him, in my opinion. And one comparison that I'm kind of high on is Breece Hall, just because of his strong build and his ability to get yards after the contact. But as for a pass catcher, he's a good check down guy.
Yeah.
I don't see him being like a target in the passing game, if you know what I mean. I think he's going to be kind of like maybe the check down guy. And if he can't get that, if his burst doesn't work in the NFL, he's probably just going to be a short yardage guy in the long run. So,
damn, you hate this guy, don't you?
Well, I don't like Breece Hall, so.
See, I don't think he's like Breece Hall. I kind of comp him to like a Joe Mixon type. Like, he is a very powerful, violent runner. There's no doubt about that. Between the tackles, even in like a zone scheme, like he's got great vision on the second level, similar to Genty. And his leg drive is something that really stands out to me. When he takes a hit, he keeps on trucking forward and he falls forward for like 3-4 additional yards sometimes. That contact balance is insane. He is kind of that pinball guy. But
he's a smaller LeGarrette Blount.
Dude, he's 221 pounds and he ran a 4.46 640. So he can definitely break a long run. Look at Derrick Henry. He's not the fastest guy, and he's got, I don't know, a dozen 90-yard something runs probably. Well, I mean, maybe
Derrick Henry has deceptive speed. He's a lot faster than he looks. That's for sure.
So is Marion Hampton, dude. I mean, I thought he is really good. Yes, he has that. I would rather have somebody who has that explosiveness, that burst, that acceleration through the hole. He absolutely has it. He hits the hole hard. He's one cut and go. It's kind of like a Nick Chubb, like Joe Mixon type of guy. Like the biggest concern I have with him is he's not like the shiftiest. He's not going to juke you out of your shoes, but he does, just subtle cuts, and then he'll try and beat you with his speed, so yeah, he's not going to run like a 4.2, 4.3 40 and just be the fastest guy on the field, but he could absolutely have some 40, 50, 60-yard touchdown runs. If he just breaks a couple of tackles, it's kind of like Marshawn Lynch in a lot of ways is another pretty decent comparison, I think. Marshawn was a little bit shiftier, but, I mean, when it comes to power, I have no knocks on him whatsoever. It's just more of kind of the deaky moves. I don't think he really has that in his bag. Maybe he can bring it to the next level, but I didn't see as much about that. Still, I see why people are putting him in the first round. He does have that 3-down potential, no doubt. And, he's got good hands. Yeah, maybe in a certain offense, he might be a dump off option, but I think he could learn some routes as well. He does have, that agility, that acceleration to quick make a break out of a route. So I like what I see a lot. He's got the build and the potential to be a 3-down back. It's just depends where he goes.
There's lots of potential there. I'm not saying I hate him, but he ain't no Chase Brown.
Yeah, I'd say I would prefer Hampton. If I got Chase Brown and you got Hampton, I'll make that trade straight up any day. I don't care where he goes, but
Ross likes Chase Brown.
I do like Chase Brown. He's on my roster. I'm actually got a comp to Chase Brown later on. We're going to talk about someone else who I think is very comparable to Chase Brown. But Hampton, he's not duking you out the stadium, but that's not his game. Like you're not going to ask him to do that. He's a different type of running back. You're going to ask him to burst through the line of scrimmage and just use his speed to run away from everyone. And I think he fits perfectly. Thinking about landing spots, and you talked about first round buzz, the Chargers. Like he's absolutely perfect for the Chargers, and I think if he goes there, he'll definitely be very high on my board, I would say.
See, I just don't think that there's going to be – I think there's going to be one first-round running back, and I think that there's 5 guys that should go in round 2. But it just kind of depends on how the chips fall. I mean, we're going to talk about a couple other guys. There's at least two other guys that I think could be first rounders, and we'll get to them in a little bit here. But yeah, like you said, he's not the shiftiest. I said it too. It's not the biggest deal. You can absolutely have success in the NFL as a running back and not be the entire package. Really depends on where you go. So with all of these guys, I mean, I'll be a little bit repetitive when I say it. Landing spot does matter. Draft capital does matter. But just based on what I've seen, the traits that he puts on display, he's got the making to be an everyday fantasy contributor and an RB1 right from the get-go, given the situation. So let's keep it moving here. We've got Caleb Johnson up next, coming out of Iowa. He's a 21-year-old junior, measured in at 6'1", 224 pounds. That's another big boy. No RAS score, but he did run a 4.57 40, which is just average, and he also had the worst 10-yard split in the entire class. I'm going to throw that out there and get back to it later. Last year, he had 240 carries for 1,537 yards with 21 touchdowns, 22 receptions for 188 yards, and 2 touchdowns to go along with it. 2023, 117 carries for 463 yards with 3 touchdowns, 3 catches only for 225 yards and a touchdown. A nice one cut and go running back. I've seen this guy as high as RB2 in the class, and I could not disagree more if I didn't foreshadow enough. I think that this guy is super overhyped, and I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about him before I really dig in on him.
I think he's a really smooth runner. So when I look at him, I think he glides through the field, and I think he's at best when he stays clean behind the line of scrimmage and he can get to that open space, get to that second level. He's very scheme specific, or he was in Iowa, obviously. He was running the zone scheme most of the time, and just getting sort of to the outside the tackle, and then using his skills. He does have great footwork to sort of set up defenders and find open space at that second level. And I think he's you talked about his combine numbers. He is a bit slower, but I think because of his vision and ability to like stop a defender's feet and never give them like a full tackle, he's always like giving them like half a leg. I think he can shake off tackles and or like maybe give a wee bit of stiff arm through. And I think he's got really good lateral agility, but not in like the twitchy jump cut start stop kind of way. It's more like shifting his body weight one way and like giving it a fake and then going outside without like losing any speed. Like he's just gliding past guys. And I think he reminds me a lot in terms of movement style of Arian Foster. Like that's the only other guy I can think of who moves in that way. And it's just really, really cool to watch when he gets to the second level. It can get a bit muddy between the tackles. When he maybe needs to be a bit more powerful. He's just not that powerful as a back. He's quite big, but he's like a finesse player in a big man's body. So I think he's maybe going to be a bit more scheme dependent than these other guys that we've talked about who can probably land anywhere. So yeah, I'll be anxious to see where he lands. The other comp I had was Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker with less power. And my reason is I think he's going to have success in a similar way to where Kenneth Walker is. He's not going to get 6 to 8 yards on every play. He's going to be boom bust. He's going to get you 0 to 2 yards, or he's going to get you 25 yards. And he's going to rip off big plays. I think that's where I see him having success is in the right scheme at the next level and ripping off big runs every 5 or 6 carries.
Okay.
I got
So you like him?
I got to agree with Corbin on this one.
There we go, Tyler.
I think the guy. I think he does lack. He lacks the speed for the next level. He is one cut, and like if that, if the hole gets clogged, he has no vision. He has no vision to go anywhere else. And like you just said, Ross, it's either going to be a 1 yard carry or 2 yard or 25. And I think we're going to see more 1 yard carries than we do 25, like a lot more. So it'll all depend on draft situation, like it does with a lot of guys. But I just don't see this guy. I mean, somebody put him as the number 2 running back. That's ridiculous.
I don't know. I just saw it on Twitter. It's not like any legitimate source or anything like that. But I'm like, holy shit! Like everyone's so high on Caleb Johnson. Like I turn on the tape and man, like I'll preface this with this. I do like Caleb Johnson, but this class is so deep. I think there's other players that I could get later on, around later in a draft. So, like, right now I have him as my RB7. There's one other guy we're not even going to talk about today, Dylan Sampson, that I have over him. And, like, I do like him. He is a physical running back. You know, he plays with power. He looks explosive hitting the holes, you know, pretty solid hands, although it's just really one season where he had 22 catches. So I think that he's capable. But like you said about Omarion Hampton, he's not going to be any more than a dump off guy. Like, he can catch balls, but doesn't really do too much with it. And I did see at times that he has good patience, but I have concerns because I feel like he is sometimes overly patient, and he's sometimes hesitant to hit the hole, and he'll pay the price and get bottled up for a loss. It's just like he's trying too hard. So I don't know if he has good vision. It kind of confuses me because there are times where he lets it develop and then he hits the hole at the perfect time, and then he makes one cut and he goes and he takes off for a huge gain. You know, I didn't see that lateral quickness, you know, that shiftiness that you were talking about, Ross. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I just didn't really see it. I just saw he was one cut and go. You know, obviously the speed's a concern, but I don't think that he's, you know, too slow by any means. You know, he's running a 4.57. You know, it's not good, but it's enough to succeed in the NFL. And also, Iowa had the fourth best run blocking offensive line. And I didn't see as much power as you would like to see out of a guy who's 224 pounds. There's a guy I'm going to talk about later, and he's the same size, and I feel like he has twice the power as Caleb Johnson. You know, like, you should see him absolutely trucking guys. There's sometimes where he just he just doesn't have the same contact balance as like an Omarion Hampton or a Gentry, my sleeper that I'm going to be talking about here. So I know it sounds like I'm really shitting on this guy and he's off my board. He is absolutely on my board. I am interested to see where he goes, but I think he needs a real offensive line to complement his skill set. If he has a poor offensive line, like, I don't see him ever, you know, juking some guy and busting one or breaking 2, 3, 4 tackles and having a huge gain off it. He needs a very good situation. He'll be more scheme dependent than a lot of these other guys that we're discussing, where you can pretty much plug them in wherever, and as long as they have average blocking, they're going to find success.
Yeah, I think we see a very similar perspective of him. I just think that can be successful. Like, he doesn't need to be like a complete player. He's going to have a spot in the NFL, and he's going to have a team, hopefully anyway, that can utilize his positive traits, his positive skill set, and I think that's where he's going to have success. He is not a power back, definitely not. But when he gets to the second level, he can make guys, like, leave them in his dust in space.
Yep.
And it's not, when I say it's lateral agility, it's maybe not, it's curvilinear speed. So, like, it's not quick jump cut to move 90
that
degrees.
Foot and goes the other way, and that's how he makes guys miss. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So he's making guys take bad angles just by a quick shift, and he's away. And it looks like he's a lot quicker than he is because of that. So I think we see him very similar. I think he's got a place in the NFL though, and I think he's got a place as a 1A back in the NFL to me, and I think he can be successful and in the right spot. And I don't see why someone who's mainly running a gap scheme is going to draft him, to be honest. Like, that's just malpractice. Like, I think half the NFL runs mostly zone anyway, so I think there's going to be somewhere for him.
Yeah. Another thing I didn't mention is, you know, he does have a low pad level, but when he is about to make contact, he'll dive forward for extra yards. You don't see a whole lot of leg churn out of him pushing forward. He'll dive and get a yard or two. But with, like, Omarion Hampton, for example, you see that leg churn, and he turns that 1-2 yard, if he dove, into like a 3, 4, 5 yard gain sometimes. So there's just little subtle things. If he goes somewhere and he's getting 20, 25 carries a game, yeah, he's probably going to end up as an RB1 at some point in his career, but the stars kind of have to align for him. There's not, I don't want to make it seem like I hate this guy. I do like him. I just think that he is super overhyped is all. To say that he's, you know, even comparable with Quinshon Judkins, TreVeyon Henderson, the other two guys, I mean, it's crazy. I don't want to spoil the rankings, but I guess the jig is up. You know, he's my last running back in this, you know, the 5 guys that we're talking about today. So, yeah, I like Caleb Johnson, but there's more to be desired. He leaves a lot of meat on the bone for sure. So let's keep it moving here, and we'll talk about a guy that I do like a lot. It's Quinshon Judkins, a.k.a. Sean's baby. Out of Ohio State, 21-year-old junior coming out. He is 5'11", 221 pounds, another big boy. His RAS score was a 9.90. He's got elite speed of 4.4, 840 with good splits, elite explosion and a 38.5-inch vertical, and an 11-foot broad, no agility scores. 2024, he had 194 carries for 1,060 yards with 14 touchdowns, 22 catches for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2023 had 271 carries for 1,158 yards, 15 touchdowns, 22 catches, 149 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I think he had 15 touchdowns as a true freshman in 2022 as well. So he's got 3 solid years of production. Very similar to Amarian Hampton, in my opinion. There are some subtle differences between their games, but I like them a lot.
I'm going to shock you because I don't like him at all.
Really?
I think, yeah, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like he was when it coming out, like he was the number 1 recruit out of high school, and he went to Ole Miss and he had insane production in his true freshman season. So he's been on the radar for a while, and everyone's had high hopes for him for when he does eventually declare for the draft. But to me, just looking at the tape, he's not elusive, like in any way whatsoever. He's not elusive. And I don't think he breaks that many tackles either. He's like a power back who doesn't really break tackles. He invites contact,
Mm-hmm.
and he's technically powerful, but I don't really see much creativity. I don't see him getting more than really what's blocked for him. He has some flashes, like a wee stiff arm here and there. I think I've seen him do a juke move like once, but it's more like when he's in space, like when he's at the line of scrimmage. I don't see much creativity. I think he seems like a slow processor. Like I feel like you can see the gears in his head turning and working as the play
Mhm.
develops to see where he wants to go. And like too many times, he's just running into the back of his own blockers. And it may be because he's on a new team and it's a new scheme, and maybe I'm doing him a disservice here, but I don't really think he has the athleticism to overcome what he was looking like. It's like slow in most plays. I was shocked by his combine performance. Like he mentioned his RAS score. Like I just did not see that.
Mhm.
I did not see that. I felt like he was slow, and he definitely didn't have any lateral agility. So I was very shocked. I just don't know what he does. I just don't know what he's doing at an elite level. I don't know what his elite trait is to make him stand out from, like you said, a very deep running back class. So I don't really get the hype. Maybe that's because the hype from when he was a true freshman was way up here, but I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
Okay. All right. What do you think, Tyler?
I had him in the draft, and I watched a few of their Ohio State games, and he was sharing time with Henderson, and they're both unique backs in their own, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I think Ross is just a hater because he's pretty good in my book. So
I agree. I think he is a hater.
I mean, I think the talent there is pretty high there, and he's gonna have a solid career as a potential 3-down back. Like he can catch the ball. One of the big things is his ball security. Like the guy doesn't fumble the ball. Like
Yep.
he
No
locks up that
fumbles.
ball. He locks up that ball, and that's what that ball. Any shortcomings he has, that kind of stuff keeps you in the league and keeps you, when a coach can trust you to hold the ball, that keeps you getting touches. So, I mean, he's not like a game breaker, elite speed Chris Johnson,
Yeah.
anything like that, but he's got the vision. Yeah, I think Ross is smoking something over there, and I don't know what. So,
Yeah. I don't know why we're seeing eye to eye on these, Tyler, but I kind of like it when we agree with each other because, yeah, I mean, physically, I think I think he's the entire package. He's got fantastic contact balance. Maybe not quite on the level of an Ashton Genty or an Omarion Hampton, but very, very physical back. He's not afraid to drop a shoulder, and he does love his stiff arm moves for sure. That's his go-to move for sure. You don't see him doing a lot of juke moves, but it's almost like the coaching staff was like, okay, TreVeyon Henderson's our home run hitter. Quinshon, you're going to be our power back. We want you to let the defenses feel us. I want you to set the tone. And it looks like he is just a tone setter, So, his physicality, I have no problems with it whatsoever. Low pad level, has the leg turn, falls forward pretty much every single time. He just looks like one of the better goal line backs in the NFL. I think he'll be used on a lot of short yardage packages. He's really good at getting skinny and finding holes in tight space. Really good vision, more at the line of scrimmage. You still see it at the second level. There are some bigger runs that he busted off. But, he's not the fastest in the world. You see him when he does break away. He gets caught from behind at times. And Ross, you did say, he's not the shiftiest. You might not have ever seen him juke. I mean, I saw some jukes for sure, but they were more of just kind of those cut jukes like Caleb Johnson. He's not juking guys out of his shoes like, oh, shit, did you guys just see that? Like, that's not his game. He pretty much always looks to make contact. It just looks like he just wants to take the will from defenders every single play. And, I like that out of my running backs. Maybe that could be indicative of some injuries, but he's never had any problems in the past. The only other thing is kind of like Caleb Johnson. He can be a little overly patient at times. Sometimes, he just has to hit the hole and not overthink it. He lets a block develop, and, he should have gone just a hair earlier, and he might kind of reduce what he was able to do. You'd like to see him just kind of hit the hole and be that north-south guy pretty consistently. And then the one bigger separator for me between him and Omarion Hampton is his receiving game, because I do think that Omarion Hampton can be a solid weapon. But with Quinshon Judkins, maybe not as much. He's capable, but I don't think that an offense is going to utilize him in that capacity.
And then probably the least favorite thing about him is his stupid fucking haircut. Like,
I knew you were going to say that.
You got like down the middle, blonde here and black here. It's like, come on, man. Like, that's just stupid looking. Like,
yeah,
anyway.
He's no Jackson Dart, that's for sure.
Nobody is.
Well, let's get into our last guy today. It's Quinshon Judkins' running mate, TreVeyon Henderson, 22-year-old coming out of Ohio State, a senior, a little bit older, but he's 5'10", 202 pounds, not the biggest guy, with an 8.87 RAS. So he had a 4.43 40 with elite splits, elite explosion, a 38.5-inch vertical, a 10-foot 8-inch broad jump, no agility scores. Last year, he had 144 carries for 1,016 yards and 10 touchdowns. He also had 27 catches for 284 yards and a touchdown. And then 2023, 156 carries for 926 yards, 11 touchdowns to go along with that. And he had 19 catches for 229 yards and 0 touchdowns. So finally, I feel like we get to mix it up and talk about a little bit of a different of running back. A lot of these guys have been super power focused outside of Genty, who's the whole package. TreVeyon Henderson wins with his speed, his acceleration, his burst. And I really, really like TreVeyon Henderson a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, we finally got to the better Ohio State running back.
Yes, we did.
So he's like I said, he's all about speed, but he's very creative in how he gets to that. Like he wants to run, make big plays down the outside, or he can manipulate defenders to get there though. Like I see him like he's got quick feet, and then he uses his elite burst to take advantage of that sort of hole that he's made up himself. And then, like I said, when he gets to the open field, he's gone. Like he can outrun angles and just elude any defender that's coming near him. But I also love like the way he finishes plays as well. Like he engages with the defender first. He's quite physical to end the play. I'm not saying he's going to break many tackles or he's going to be a power back. But I just love how he's finishing plays. He's not dipping out of bounds. He's trying to run through a guy to finish off and get an extra couple of yards. And that was a surprise for me, to be honest, after watching him casually, to then turn on the tape and see he is quite a physical player. And another place that shows up is his pass protection. And again, similar to Marion Hampton, I think these two guys are the best in the class that I've seen. He's going to get on the field. And he does have that great pass catching ability as well. Like we've seen it against Texas. Obviously, a dump off takes it 70 odd yards in for a touchdown. And that's going to get him on the field in third down situations and in hurry up offenses as well. So yeah, I think he's not going to be a 25 carry a game kind of guy, but he's going to get 15 touches, maybe more. But they're going to be high quality touches for a
Efficient.
fantasy wise anyway. They're going to be catches, they're going to be opportunities to crack off big plays. And this is my Chase Brown comparison. I see him same body type and same athleticism, but also that what I just talked about, he's going to be impactful on fewer number of carries. Like they're going to have a power back in the same backfield as him, perhaps, but he's going to still be as impactful on 15 to 20 carries rather than 25 to 30.
Yep.
Right. So like you're comparing him to Chase Brown, who's like top 5 elite running back in fantasy football.
Exactly.
And I agree. Like, he has that potential. I don't know, not being Canadian, he might not get there, but it's going to be close. No, I mean, I wanted to disagree with Corbin for one, after the last two guys, but I just can't with Henderson. I think that had he not had the injury issues through his college career, I think he'd be talked about a lot more. You know what I mean? Like, and I think he would be hyped up a lot more than he is. Sharing a lot of the load with Judkins is going to help him in the long run. Yeah, I'm a big fan. This guy's he's the type of guy who can, might not be a 3-down guy, but might need somebody. He's gonna probably need somebody to help, help carry the load,
Lighten the load.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah, he's got potential. Like he can be a stud. Like he's got it. He's got what you need there. So I love his vision, quickness, and agility, all that shit. And like, yeah, Chase Brown all the way. Props.
I think that Travion Henderson has the potential, the traits, the body type to be a 3-down back. But I agree with you. I don't think that's the smartest move for him. One, because he does have some injury concerns. That's one of my knocks on him, is he missed time in 22 and 23 due to injury. So, I wouldn't say he's fragile by any means, but it's something you want to monitor. You might want to limit those snap counts. But Ross, you hit the nail on the head. Super efficient with every single time he gets the ball. Like the best thing about his game is his acceleration and his explosion. He will absolutely just yeet through a hole with lightning speed and just very, very efficient. Like his contact balance is another thing that was just sneaky good, just very sneaky power. And when he does take a hit, he just doesn't lose any speed. He just keeps on chugging downfield. There's so much stop and go and tempo to his game. It just throws these defenders off, and that he just makes guys miss just with that tempo alone. Really, really good vision at the second level, too. He has no problem just kind of reading linebacker safeties and taking it to the next level. I think he's going to be really, really good in his zone scheme. He's got that patience to let blocks develop, find that crease, and just hit it and go. And he is off at top speed just like that. Really, really good lateral quickness, too. He'll make multiple cuts and kind of the same thing when he takes a hit. It's so efficient. He doesn't lose any speed when he does it. Yeah, I like him a lot, honestly. It's just like the injury concerns that I just mentioned might get him, more that 12 to 15 carries, maybe like 3-4 catches. But it's like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, like Jahmyr Gibbs is an RB1, no problem. And I could see him kind of following in his footsteps in that way. Sometimes he gets a little bit too fancy in the backfield. When you want him to get north and south, he tries to make a guy miss. He might get tackled behind the line for a loss. He'll look to bounce outside a little bit too often, which worked for him at Ohio State. But in the NFL, you just got to get north, south, and get going. That's really the only knock that I have on the guy. He's pretty much the full package, and Ross, like, back 2 years ago when we were talking about Jameer Gibbs and Devon Achane, I said that Achane had more power than Gibbs, and then that first year when I'm seeing every single game that sneaky power, I I don't know, I just love that, and so that's something that I saw. I'm like, I'm not going to miss on it this time. I love Travion Henderson. He's really really good, and I think he should be the number 2 running back taken in the draft.
Okay. Well, I think just to give you a negative, I think he's maybe in terms of usage, he's maybe going to be a between the twenties player, and he's not going to have as big a touchdown upside.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
obviously, he can sort that out by breaking off 25-yard touchdowns, but he may not see that. So that's maybe capping his ceiling a little bit. Um, but yeah, that's the only really negative I can see for Henderson at the next level. Anyway.
Well,
And I think he's going to be
you
a
better
first
get
round
the.
pick as well. Like I think he's getting a
You
little bit
do.
of buzz. I think he can be. I've got him going to the Broncos, because Sean Payton's all off season's been talking about this joker, this guy, offensive weapon that can move around, and everyone's been thinking it's Colston Loveland or a tight end. I think it's Travion Henderson. Like he
Hmm.
can split out wide and become a receiver, and he could like be a matchup nightmare just because of his speed, acceleration, all the traits we've talked about.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be a good place. Esteem and Henderson together. Yeah, that'd be pretty special.
I don't know. I kind of think it might be Luther Burden, but who knows? Yeah, that I could see it. I mean, like the Broncos, the Chargers, like those are the ideal destinations. I just see that there's going to be probably like 5 guys, 5 running backs taken in the top 50. So I do think that, if like Travis Etienne goes around like pick 20, like Travion Henderson absolutely should. He's a better prospect. If it wasn't for Genti, he would be the. I mean, even like the past 3 years, we've been hearing about Travion Henderson possibly coming on. He kept going back to
Yeah.
college ever since his freshman year. And now is finally the time. And this is when I really dove into the tape. And year after year, you saying the same thing. Super consistent, sneaky power, insane acceleration, burst, really good tempo. I love his game a lot. And I think he brings a different dynamic compared to pretty much anybody else in this class, other than Genti, of course.
One more thing, his character as well. So he came back to school. They told him you're going to have Quinshon Judkins in the backfield. What do you want to do? He said, "I'm coming back. I'm going to win a national championship." And he was a full time back. Obviously, the first 2 years got hurt. He said, I'll be the 1B or the 1A to Judkins, and I'm happy with that." And it worked out very well for him. So I think that shows his character to me.
Yeah. And it helped
But
minimize those touches, too. So it's just going to help him on the
do
NFL, his longevity increase it.
you think with the injuries in 23 and 22 that maybe that's why he didn't come out? Because that probably would have hurt his draft stock a lot. And then, he probably figured to come back for 24 and have a solid year of not getting injured and show that he can play a year without it. And then looking at it, and they probably told him, hey, like, we got Judkins, so you're going to share it. So there's more to it than not getting injured, right? To help you not get injured. So
It's hard to
that's,
say. I think it's hard
probably,
to say.
probably thinking about in his mind, right? But I mean, now that they got the college money, I keep forgetting that guys have college money. So they probably don't give a shit where they get drafted these days.
Yeah.
It used to be something they worried about, right? But now they're getting becoming millionaires in college. So
Yeah. Well, he could have came out 2 years ago, but I mean, he's had pretty light loads, every season where he's been productive. So
that's
I
what she
think
said.
I think he'll. I don't think it'll be any serious concerns with injuries. I mean, they're there, but a lot of running backs miss time. It is something to note, at least, because a lot of these bigger backs don't have those injury concerns, and he does. So that's something that's attached to him. But traits wise, I mean, I'm just drooling at the mouth, just waiting to see where he goes in drafts. I'm going to be hot on that trail for sure. He's a first round pick in every single rookie draft. Doesn't matter the format, no doubt about it. He should definitely go before any wide receiver in this class.
On another note, my kids love the term big backs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's like the new saying for fat ass. So
No.
Every time my son hears them on the NFL Network say he's a big back, he just starts laughing. Anyway, here's a little side note because you said bigger backs.
It's a Canadian thing, I think. A big back bitch.
I'm Steve. From Minecraft.
All right, well, let's hop into the rankings here, guys. I think we're going to have a little bit of variation. Probably not so much at the top, but Tyler, how about you kick us off? How do you rank them?
Well, I'm going to go Genty last. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I know.
What a kidder. 1 is Genty. 2, I'm going to go Henderson. 3, I'm going to go Judkins.
Okay.
And 4, I'm going Hampton. And then 5 is Johnson.
All right. Not bad. I like it. Ross? Let's see some controversy.
Caleb Johnson, number 1. No, I'm joking. Ashton Genty, number 1. Number 2, I'm going to Marion Hampton.
Okay.
I just think he's got more volume, opportunity, and then touchdown upside as well. And then number 3, I'm going to put Travion Henderson. Number 4, Caleb Johnson, and I'd have all 3 of those guys in a very similar tier. And then Judkins way down.
So you got Judkins outside that tier, huh?
Yeah, he's not even my 5th. He's not even my RB5.
Ooh, wow, that is spicy. Ooh, okay, all right. Well, I do have some tiers as well. Genty's number 1, obviously. We've got Travion Henderson number 2, Hampton number 3, Judkins number 4, and all 3 of those are super interchangeable. I reserve the right to switch that order based on draft capital. I just like Travion because he brings a little bit of a different dynamic, and I feel like teams are looking for that speedy home run hitter, and nobody has the acceleration that he has. You know, you can find some of these bigger bruising backs that you can use on the goal line, and I'm not saying that's what Hampton and Judkins are. I mean, they are true 3-down backs. But I think Travion has that potential too. The age and the volume are a concern, but based on that tape alone, I mean, I love Travion Henderson's tape the most. And so that's why I put him there. But all 3 of those guys are kind of neck and neck, very, very similar in my opinion. Caleb Johnson is not even close, not even in the same tier. Like I said, he's my RB7 right now. And depending on where some of these other guys go, he could be even lower. I just think there's like 4 or 5 guys that I kind of see in a similar mold. Like I mentioned, Dylan Sampson's one of them. My sleeper I definitely have over him. He's my RB5. We'll get to him in a little bit, but I just think that Caleb Johnson's going to be like a 2nd-round pick, and I could get a guy in the 3rd round that I like better than him or just as much as him.
And just so we know, of the 5 guys that we have done, their last name starts with a J or an H. We have 3 J's and 2 H's.
Damn.
Mind blowing. Well,
I
dug
crazy
on that information. So
very nice. Very nice. All right, guys, we're coming up on an hour here. Let's get through our sleepers. And there's so many running backs to pick from, honestly. For me, I just wanted to go with my favorite guy because I feel like he's kind of under the radar. But Tyler, why don't you kick us off? Because I feel like Ross isn't going to copy me. Maybe you will.
My guy is a little farther down the list.
Okay.
South Carolina back. He is he had a 4.46 40. His name is Raheem Rocket Sanders. They project him to be a good backup, a good change of pace guy kind of deal. But I think he has what it takes, with some good NFL. He's athletic, he's agile, he's elusive. He needs some work, polish up his game, but I think he's got what it takes. He's got a motor in him that's pretty high, and he breaks tackles. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, but he needs a lot of work on it. He's He's naturally gifted at catching the ball. He just needs to work on the actual technique of being a pass catching back. He's got patience and yeah, he breaks tackles. I like the guy. And his nickname is Rocket. So there you go.
Of course. That was the big selling point. Tyler saw Rocket and he's like, that's my guy right there.
Yeah. I was gonna go with that that Samson guy or whatever his name is, and then I was like, no, he's too high on the rankings, and his name's not Rocket. So
yeah. Well, he's Samson strong though. Not really,
Samson.
but all right, Ross, who's your sleeper? I've been waiting to figure this one.
Mine's is there's a lot of guys I like, but I'm looking to give some love to a guy who I've not heard much talk about, and it's Brashard Smith out of SMU. So he's 5'10", 194 pounds. His RAS average 7.21, but he ran a 4.39. And he's a former wide receiver, 4-star prospect out of high school as a wide receiver. He went to Miami, barely played for 3 years. Well, he played a little bit, but he transferred to SMU this season and just changed positions. So this is 1 year at the position, and he's very good for that experience he's got. And yeah, he reminds me of Tyrone Tracy, just obviously because of that changeover. But he runs behind the line of scrimmage like he's running a route, like he's got small, quick steps, and then he can burst through the line of scrimmage, through the hole. I think he's got that elite acceleration, and I think he's at his best when he's in the open field. He can use stop. He's got stop start ability, like I said, quick feet, good footwork. It just makes him a difficult tackle. And obviously, because of his background, he's a great weapon at receiver as well, but not just like a dump off guy. Like legitimately can run great routes and break off the stem at the top and get open really easily. So yeah, I think he's going to be a valuable addition to an NFL offense, similar to Henderson in that when he gets on the field, he's going to be efficient with his carries because he's got that speed to take it all the way. He's got that catching ability as well to get those extra PPR points. And yeah, he's probably going to be a 5th, 6th round pick. I heard he's got some off-field issues like missing meetings and stuff like that, so we'll see. But I just wanted to talk about him because I don't think he's getting much love, and I think he's a really good guy, really good player anyway.
And I just looked him up and read that he has a Chase Brown comp.
Ooh.
Huh?
Now
Everyone's
he's on
compared to
Tyler's
Chase
radar.
Brown.
Look out. Tyler's going to snag him real quick. Every Chase Brown lookalike he's going to grab. All right. Well, I'm getting into it. This is my guy. I've been waiting to talk about this. He is my RB5 in the class over Caleb Johnson. No question about it. I don't care where they go. I'm taking this guy. He's in a tier of his own. Goes Genty, tier 1. You got Judkins, Henderson, and Hampton in tier 3. Or tier 2. This guy's in tier 3 all by himself. And then you got Caleb Johnson and probably like 6 other guys all in tier 4. My guy is Cam Scatabo out of Arizona State. He's 23 years old, a little older, senior coming out. He's 5'9", 219 pounds. Pretty good athlete, not elite, but he's got a 7.45 RAS score, a 4.65 40. I'm going to get ahead of this. Not good in the 40, but his play speed is so much better than that. He's got a better 10-yard split than Caleb Johnson. He's very, very explosive, a 39.5-inch vertical and a 10-foot 3-inch broad jump. Last year, he had 203 carries for 1,711 yards with 21 touchdowns, 45 catches for 605 yards, 3 touchdowns. The year before, 164 carries for 783 yards with 9 touchdowns, another 24 catches for 286 yards and a touchdown. So this guy is my RB5 because of 2 things, really, 2 key things. When you're looking at some of these guys who are going to be, late 2nd, 3rd round picks, not a very high hit rate. You want to find guys with traits that are elite. And he has 2 really elite traits in my mind. He might have the best contact balance in the draft, even over Genty. Like those are the 2 guys where they are neck and neck. I think he's better than Hampton. And then 2, he has the highest motor that I might have ever seen out of a running back at all. He's got the best leg drive of any running back in this class. The guy does not stop until he is down. And even when he's down, he keeps on pumping. I mean, if you haven't heard of this guy, just turn on one highlight tape, and you will see what you need to know. Now, I'm not saying like highlight tapes tell you everything, but you see the power, you see the physicality. There's no doubt in my mind he is going to be the goal line back for a team as a rookie. So you're going to get touchdown potential too. I mentioned his receiving acumen. He's got 45 catches last year for 605 yards. He's not just a dump off back. He is running routes out there. He has really good hands, just a very, very reliable weapon in the pass game. That's PPR points for you in your dynasty league. He's got great lateral agility. You know, I mentioned the physicality. He's got a sneaky shiftiness to his game. He's not going to juke you out of your shoes, but he's going to make you miss. It's not just a one cut. Like, he will make moves to make you miss. Even though he's not the fastest straight line speed guy, he has enough speed to get it done. He's got the acceleration, the lateral quickness to accomplish what he needs to. And, you know, unlike a guy like Quinshon Judkins, who's always looking to just like power through you, there are times where he is creative with it. So I like to see that he has a little variation to his game. Very patient, good vision. Just getting him out in space, like on a screen, is absolutely lethal. I don't see cornerbacks taking him down. If he gets the ball in space, he will run right through your face and keep on going. Maybe he gets caught behind on a few, but guess what? His game's more, you know, those 8 to 10 yard chunks at a time. Maybe he breaks off a 20, 25 yarder. Eventually he's going to get down to the goal line. He's going to be falling into the end zone because that leg drive, he just keeps on going. Biggest knocks on him, you know, his long speed. He's not some burner. He ran a 4.640. I get it. But he plays faster on tape. You can still see him outrunning, you know, some safeties, some slower defensive backs. Maybe he gets caught from behind. That's not his game. He has value on a team no matter what. He has the potential to be a 3-down back. And the only other critique I have is fumbles. He had 10 of them in 3 years, which is a little bit of a concern. I feel like a lot of it was punches just because people can't take him down. Like, you pretty much have to gang tackle him every single time. You see him taking on like safeties and linebackers one-on-one and winning those battles more times than not. There's no other guy like him in this class. There really isn't. You know, I really, really love this guy. In my mind, I think he's like a late second, but just because there's so much depth, I do think, you know, the Ohio State guys in Hampton are going to go before him. I don't know how he gets out of the third round. I would be shocked. I could see like maybe somebody taking a Caleb Johnson over him, or I mean, there's like Devin Neal and like Dylan Sampson that I like too, but those guys are pretty decent in areas. But Scatterboo has those elite traits: the contact balance, the motor, the leg drive, and he just kind of strikes me as like a Dan Campbell kind of guy, just super gritty, never going to give up. I really, really love the guy, and he is not getting talked about nearly enough. Seen him come up a little bit, but he was just nowhere on anyone's radar a couple of months ago, and he should be.
Take a breather, Corbin. That was a very passionate plea for Cam Scatterwood, but I'm with you all the way. I'm with you. Favorite thing about him: 0-star recruit. And that he plays like he's a 0-star recruit. He's had to earn everything, every touch he's had to earn. So he plays like he's running through guys' faces when he gets on the field. Like, he's got that dog in him, as they say. And yeah, the most underrated thing about him, and you did mention it, is his receiving ability. Like, he's a legitimately good receiver, splitting them out wide, not these dump offs, taking them for long carries, but splitting them out wide, running routes, and then and being an impact player there. And yeah, he's not getting out of the third round. I don't see where he is. Maybe the NFL, maybe actually because of the time speed he doesn't have. But yeah, he's a one-man team towards the end of the season, and they didn't have anyone else. Everyone knew he was getting the ball. He was the man to stop, and he still couldn't be stopped. He was still so impactful towards the end of the season in the playoffs. But my comp for him is James Conner. He's maybe not as heralded as one of the elite backs in the NFL, but he's very, very good, and he gets all the carries, and he can do everything well, and he's very well rounded. And I think I see him very similarly to Conner at the next level.
There's just so much value to be had, man. I really, really like him. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, I remember when I first watched him, I just put on a highlight tape just to get an idea of what he can do. And like the first three, he is just running through a motherfucker's face, dude. He wants to suck your soul. He wants to. Who's the guy? Was it Tom Booker, Alabama, who says he wants to just sap the love of who he's taken on, like their love for football? That's how I see him, and he will just stare you down and demoralize you and just make you his little bitch. And I fucking love that, dude. You don't see guys like him often, and his play backs it up. He really is all that.
I don't know, you guys. Like, I had to take a break for a second there, so I missed it all, or most of it, like maybe a tenth of it. Are you saying you like him?
I mean, he's all right. Like if I didn't get him in a draft, it'd be like, shoot, like next guy, I guess. So
just so you know, he's like rated. I mean, he is your sleeper, but he's rated like right behind Judkins.
Really? Where?
On my list, on my thing, not me, but my guy who So
see, I feel like no one's really talking about.
See how I can't move that one backwards? I can move that one back, but I can't move that one back.
Strange.
Yeah, I got hit by a car.
It's vagina.
When I was young.
RR, just a quick shout out to everyone in Rising Rookies. Corbin has the 107 and the 110. So Cam's got him, get him before that if you want him.
Yeah. Take him at 106, please. Have at it. He's all yours.
What would you trade for him?
I mean, I'm not super
I gotta
keen
move.
on him.
I gotta move
like
up.
I said, man, if I get him, great. If not, there's plenty of other fish in the sea,
What if he goes to Green Bay?
Yeah, I mean, I could do without him. Who needs a Cam Scatterboo, dude? I mean, look at him. He ran a 4.65 40, man. Like,
Yeah.
he can't have that. Doesn't. How is he going to contribute to your fantasy football team? I don't know.
Tyron Williams, Bucky Irvin, both very fast players. Never had any success in the league.
He could hang out with the linemen.
There's exactly. There's so many other ones. I think like Jordan Davis, that nose tackle ran a faster 40 than him, maybe. So, yeah. I don't even know why I brought it up. It's stupid. There's so many better guys. You guys should all draft other running backs over him. Don't even take him. He's off my board.
I'd probably run a faster 40 than him. And
yeah, probably, honestly. Yeah. He's a big back. That's for sure. I don't know how he can get moved.
Yeah. Big back.
All right, guys. Well, that was a great season. The 2025 draft class is officially in the books. Thursday, April 24th, the NFL draft is going down in Green Bay. And we'll see how we paired up. I mean, I feel like I have a very good understanding on some of these guys. Obviously, we didn't cover a lot of corners or offensive linemen, but there's some solid prospects in there as well. So tune in. You're going to want to see where all these guys we've discussed go. Landing spot is important. Despite all of our rankings, there might be some changes there, but it's like Christmas for me. I'm just ready to get it going. Every day I wake up and just think NFL draft, and I just can't wait for the day to finally be upon us.
And remember, guys, when you're watching the draft, next weekend, keep your eye out for the Rocket.
And I just forgot. Obviously, I'm here, not recording in my house. I totally forgot my JJ McCarthy fathead, so I might have to keep him around for another month. Just when I thought this might be the last time you'd be seeing him, I'm going to have to bring him back. Shoot. But all right, that's going to do it, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will be back next year with the 2026 class. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Thanks. See you later.